Red Bull is on the brink of despair, and to make matters worse, they could lose one of their most influential employees over the next months. As Ferrari wants Newey, and this time it looks like it could really happen. Timing is essential in life, especially in a competitive situation like Formula One. From this perspective, the Maranello team's hiring of Lewis Hamilton was a masterful display of deception, timing, and cautiousness, surprising even a savvy management like Toto Wolff. Frederic Vasseur's young mandate has already resulted in an internal reorganization centered on human resources who support the manager's objective. Although Ferrari hasn't won a world championship in a long time, there is a sense of hope as opposed to Mercedes and Red Bull, which have plenty of issues. Even in the first half of the 2024 season, Red Bull has succeeded in making itself known more for its internal conflict than for its sporting dominance. The internal inquiry, started by Red Bull Sport headquarters into Christian Horner's suspected inappropriate conduct towards an employee, was concluded with the acquittal of the world champion team's CEO and team principal. Case closed? Absolutely not. Every day, news slips that expose internal arguments, power moves, and old disagreements that have yet to erupt, since success is the finest medication to soothe emotions. The death of the Mateschitz team's founder served as the final straw. Although F1 was not and will never be the core business of the energy drink giant, Dietrich spared no cost to thrive in the top category of motorsport, also taking over the Faenza team from Paul Stoddart, which was not going well. As long as he lived, Red Bull's co-founder was the glue that held the team's many spirits together. The English team, led by Horner, has traditionally taken credit for Milton Keynes' success. Helmut Marko, who introduced some of the best talents of the previous decade to F1, metaphorically represents the Austrian soul on the track. Without delving into the details of the newest news in a long-running tale, we are confident that success will not be enough to persuade many engineers to continue their careers in a work atmosphere that has become toxic, gratifying but stressful at the same time. Almost everyone of Red Bull's senior management has spoken out at this time, with the exception of Adrian Newey. The F1 genius has always been reserved, focusing on what he enjoys most, engineering the world's quickest single-seaters. The engineer from Stratford-upon-Avon, like all artists, is free-spirited. Putting tight protocols on him would be a mistake. In his memoirs discussing his time at McLaren, Newey revealed a weird but fairly recent anecdote. It was a very controlled environment. You entered through long, white corridors and it took a while to reach the workplace. One day I decided to take an alternative route, from the parking lot. I received a warning email. They would start an internal investigation if I continued not to follow the planned route to reach my office. Consider the current upheaval at Red Bull and picture how a man of such a character would react to this witch hunt climate, especially in the team where he had discovered his ideal dimension. This is the exact time when the indisputable #1 designer may round off his incredible career by uniting his professional route with the iconic Maranello team, which will be led by Lewis Hamilton beginning next year. Frederic Vasseur and the top management do not require much thoughts about the idea of getting Newey. Nevertheless, in order to seduce Adrian Newey and strike the mark, you must provide the Briton with a level of freedom that will put the 65-year-old at peace and allow him to express all of his creativity. Presumptions that persuaded him to leave an F1 powerhouse like McLaren for what at the time appeared to be a brilliant up-and-coming organisation named Red Bull. According to the word around the paddock, Ferrari is certainly attempting. Such a chance cannot be passed up, and as far as we know, in addition to the symbolic blank check on compensation, the prancing horse would be well prepared to meet Newey's requests, all due to John Elkann's international management who knows what he's doing from a business standpoint. In summary, Newey believes Ferrari needs to act now or never, and thus, every day brings new revelations in the Red Bull affair. But what is the reality behind the reports that Christian Horner may have to quit after all? And what does the current team's manager have to say about his employees' threats to move teams? On the track, Red Bull is running everything into the ground, and the Milton Keynes racing team continues to dominate the news outside of it. During the Grand Prix weekend in Jeddah, Helmut Marko was unexpectedly in the focus of attention. At first, it was speculated that the man from Graz would be forced to resign his position. After a clarifying conversation with managing director Oliver Mintzlaff, the 80-year-old was finally permitted to stay. Marko stated that Mintzlaff, together with Franz Watzlawick, had scheduled a meeting with majority owner Chalem Yovidya in Dubai on Sunday following the race. Apparently, the Austrian side attempted to explain to the Thai why continuing to work with Christian Horner may have a detrimental influence on the team and the worldwide energy drink industry. This, however, should not come as a surprise to Uvidia, and it hasn't bothered him yet. The fact that the employee who complained about Horner's attitude now wishes to take the case to a British civil court would not impress Uvidia. Previously, this idea had been discussed. It is so impossible to predict where a sudden change of heart may come from. But one thing is apparent. The failed Marko dismissal in Jeddah gave Horner and Uvidia's opponents a decisive points advantage. They clearly did not expect Max Verstappen to support his sponsor so strongly, who had moved him directly from Formula 3 to the top class in 2015. Verstappen made it clear that Marko's continued employment at Red Bull is inextricably related to his own future. Following the race, Horner faced difficult questions regarding his superstar's potential move. The Briton was outwardly calm. It's like everything in life. You can't force someone to work somewhere just because it's written on a piece of paper. If someone doesn't want to be in this team, we won't force them to stay against their will. Horner attempted to keep this comment generic, without referring particularly to Verstappen. It would have an impact on personnel across all areas of his racing team. Working in a team like this requires commitment and passion. Max has that. He's been here since he was 18 years old, and I have no doubt that his commitment and passion will change in the future. For weeks, Horner has been attempting to sell the public on the ideal Red Bull world, even while one media bombshell after another hits him. There is no tension or stress. You can see how relaxed Max is with everyone in the garage. Of course, every team would love to have him. But as Toto Wolff has already said, the best drivers always want to be in the best car. In Bahrain, the team's CEO was still confident that Verstappen would complete his contract, which runs until 2028. He now sounded a little more cautious. Of course, you can never rule out everything. If a driver wants to be somewhere else, then he goes somewhere else. But I see no reason why anyone would want to leave this team. Max has all the support around him and is doing a great job in a great car. It will be fascinating to observe how this situation evolves. It is said behind the scenes that not only Verstappen, but also Adrian Newey is dissatisfied with the present position. Horner wants to entirely relegate him to the RB17 hypercar project due to funding constraints. In a podcast barely 6 months ago, the design genius expressed sorrow that he had never worked on an emotional level with Ferrari or Lewis Hamilton. Frederic Vasseur could become one of the most important team principals Ferrari has had in recent decades if he also gets Newey across. As for Red Bull, Max Verstappen, Adrian Newey, and Helmut Marko are part of Red Bull, but Christian Horner has made it obvious that he leads the team. I think that there's probably too much said already by other parties, he said in Saudi Arabia. The team is the team. Max is part of the team, Helmut is part of the team, I lead this team, and everybody has a key role to play. However, while Verstappen's threat to leave Red Bull continues to make headlines, with the Dutchman connected to Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes seat, Horner insists that his star driver is not greater than Red Bull. He indicated that if Verstappen decides to go, he will not stop him. This is the same for Helmut Marko and even longtime friend Adrian Newey. It seems that Red Bull is ready to implode, and if one or more of these important figures will move more people will leaving Red Bull vulnerable. What are your thoughts?